After your lies were exposed, you wrote to this committee. You tried to explain that your comments to officials were made in passing. Well, Tom Clark, that's another lie.
Mr. Barrett, the floor is yours for 6 minutes, please. On November 5th, news broke about your involvement in the purchase of the $9 million condo on Billionaires Row. And then, having been found out, you sent a letter, and the letter said, I was not aware until media reports this week that the comments made in passing to a colleague had been reported by the Consulate General to the Global Affairs Canada property team. Let me give you an example of a comment made in passing, Mr. Clark. Hey, that meeting didn't go so well. Now, let me give you an example of someone who holds the most senior position at an organization telling their team that the facilities for them to live in and for them to work in were insufficient. And that's what you did, sir. Isn't that right?
Wow. Man, I love Barrett. He's our ethics critic, so he takes this stuff extremely seriously because that's his job, but also because, I mean, that's the job of the Conservatives, right? To hold everybody on the government side to account. But he does it so well.
Yeah. He does it in such a way. He could have been a lawyer easily.
Oh, for sure.
Easily.
For sure.
And it says something that they send him in to committees along with Michael Cooper, along with Larry Brock, the two lawyers,
yeah.
Right? So it's he does just such a phenomenal job, and it's really a treat watching him like tear people apart. So,
but
Tom.
you know, well, I was gonna say he's such a nice person, like in real life when you get to meet him.
Yeah, he's super nice. He's super nice.
But that's how most of these Conservatives are. If you do have the opportunity to meet any of them, they're just such wonderful people, and they care so much about this country. They are just going after anybody who is wasting taxpayer money, who is doing things that are corrupt. Like, they want that garbage to stop.
They have no time for it.
Right.
So, hey, public service, wouldn't want to be you when they get in government and see all the crap that you're doing.
Mr. Chair, as previous testimony has shown, the concerns about the official residence, let's call it the old official residence, have been around since 2014. I was
be there, Mr. Clark. The difference, sir, is that you got the job and then the condo got bought. That's the difference. This isn't about what happened 8 years ago. What we need to know, sir, is why you didn't tell the truth. Sir, why you lied to committee the last time you were here. Why did you do that?
Mr. Chair, the evidence that I have given this committee has been consistent with the evidence that every other witness has given to this committee. It is straightforward and it is simple.
That's not true. And let me display for you some of the evidence that comes from your own department. First of all, there's the ATIP that was the subject of that November 5th story that was published. And in it, it says, the current CNGNYHOM, that's you, expressed concerns regarding the completion of the kitchen and refurbishment project and indicated the unit was not suitable to be the Consul General's accommodations, and it does not have an ideal floor plan for the Consul General representational activities. That's not what you said when you were here last time. And you were asked pointedly. And, you know, one of the Liberal members helpfully asked, did you at any time talk to anyone regarding a desire for relocation? Mr. Thomas Clark, quote, never. Well, now we know that's not true. We know, in fact, that you did make the comments. And you just didn't know that it was captured in official briefing notes. So you just didn't know that you knew that you made the comments. You just didn't know you got caught.
That's what I said.
Again, Judge Judy. I didn't know there was a recording. Right. I didn't know there was going to be actual evidence used against me. That's not fair. But you can tell he knew he was kind of screwed there, because he's like, well, the evidence that I gave was consistent with all of the other evidence that everybody else gave.
No.
Barrett's like, no. I don't know if you think that's what an autocorrect is, but that isn't that. and yeah.
I can explain it to you, but I can't understand it for you. It was very straightforward.
So, there you go. Anyway, let's hear it.
Isn't that right?
Mr. Chair, as every other witness has testified, and as I have testified, this process has been going on for a long time. As I testified to this committee, I did not ask for or request a change of residence. I will restate that now. But this has been a process that has been led by Global Affairs Headquarters Property Division in Ottawa.
Sir, let me tell you, when the head of the organization, and you described the importance of the mission, of which you're the head of, you described how important it is. For you to get things done, I don't imagine you need to directly instruct individual members of your team to do them. You need to identify that there's a problem, and then the team engages to solve it.
This is an excellent point that Barrett makes.
Because it's probably like that in any high-end position like that, right?
I've been there, right? Like I've been there.
Like you manage a department, so you don't have to, go down to Bob in coding and be like, okay, Bob, this is exactly what I need you to code.
I've also been the guy that this has been said to, right? So I've been in situations where my boss says, here's a situation. So I used to manage the end user support group. So basically, these are the IT people who fix all the computers in the organization. And what we would also do is we would run the company town halls. So we would operate the camera equipment and the lighting and stuff like that. So in my first couple of weeks, when I was brought in, there was a town hall, and after that town hall, and the town hall was garbage, my boss pulled me aside and he said, "This is the state of the town halls." And I said, "Message received." He didn't have to say, "Ryan, the town hall sucks. I want you to go and figure out a way to fix it." He basically just said, "This sucks."
Yeah.
And so what am I going to say? Yes, boss. Sure does suck.
No, boss, they're perfect.
No, sure does. Sure, yeah, it sucks. I agree with you. Have a good day. That's not how this works. That's not how this works.
It's implied. It's very heavily implied.
If he has to tell me what to do on that,
then you're the
I
wrong
shouldn't have
guy.
a job.
Yeah, you're the wrong guy.
I should not have a job.
100%.
So, yeah, let's like Tom Clark is sitting there saying, he got there, he made remarks about the inadequate space of this, and there was people that were having accessibility problems, coming in and out of the residence, and there was an issue separating the family space from the non-family space. So what, he just wanted to raise those observations and then be like, but no, I'm perfectly fine living here.
Or what's a better example? When your spouse is really upset and they're like, "No, it's fine." Like, "No, this is fine. Like, it's fine that dinner got burned. It's fine." Boys. Boys, it's not fine that dinner got burned. You got to go out and get something.
Boys, you've been in the situation, right? Where your wife says, "Why is there stuff all over the floor?" Imagine if you're just like, "I don't know. I'm going out, honey. I'm going golfing. I answered your question."
You wouldn't be coming back home.
Can you imagine? Like, this is what we're talking about, folks. Okay, I know we took that a little far, but the absurdity.
It's just to highlight the absurdity of it. Also have a good chuckle.
That's how it works. This isn't some comment made in passing. And again, you talk about the evidence. Well, let's talk about the June 17th email from Emily Nicholson. And Miss Nicholson says that the head of mission and staff have been instrumental throughout this process, with the head of mission, that's you, providing the green light for the selection of the new residents. Now, we know that once this scandal ended up in front of a parliamentary committee, that damage control was engaged, and Miss Nicholson swallowed herself whole, saying that you had nothing to do with it.
Yeah, so in a previous committee meeting, and we did live stream this one, they were actually talking about this briefing note and how it said that, the head of mission, greenlit the condo and everything like that. And they said, well, that was a mistake. That was like a typo. I'm like, no, that's a Stephen Anderson autocorrect.
Mr. Anderson.
Mr. Anderson.
That is not an autocorrect. That is not a typo. You do not deliberately finish that sentence and that be a typo. Give me a break.
Right.
But this is when you're completely cornered, but you are still required to lie. This is what you end up doing. And it just sounds absurd because it is absurd. Like, Jim. Oh, come on! That's it. That's it.
Well, I imagine when she was trying to save her job, that's exactly what she would say. But there are now multiple data points that didn't come from admissions from you or your staff, but came from accessed information demands and document production orders from this committee that revealed that you were involved, that your champagne tastes weren't being met with the recently modified shared representational space at the mission, nor with the multi-million-dollar condo on Billionaires Row.
Okay, Barrett makes a really good point, and he kind of glossed over it, but it's really, really important for everybody to know. So there was a recent space that was acquired that was to be shared by the UN ambassador that Canada has, and the Consulate General. And what was this space to be used for?
Conferences and stuff, right?
Conferences and events, right? So this whole malarkey of them saying, oh, well, it wasn't, the residence wasn't adequate for hosting events. Well, it doesn't matter because you were supposed to be hosting these events over at the UN space.
Right. And I think the excuse for that was, it was too far away, wasn't it?
I don't even think that they had an excuse for it.
Okay.
I think their excuse under their breath was, well, the other world leaders, have these fancy residences on Billionaires Row, and I don't want to be one of the kids with the poor man's jeans. So I want a nice pair of jeans so that people will come over and play with me.
But it's perception, right? These guys are arguing that, we need to give off this perception that Canada's this big wealthy country and blah blah blah. But what it gives off the perception of is that we're spending taxpayer money for stuff that we don't really need because we've already got it. And it's during a time where there's an affordability crisis in the country, where people are losing their homes. There's over 300 foreclosures a day in this country. That's insane.
Well, and Tanya nailed it. Let's just say, for example, that everything that they're saying is correct. That this is essentially cost neutral. It doesn't matter because it's the perception that is the issue. You have Canadians having to live in tents. You having people with jobs having to live in their cars.
People who are having to move in with their adult children because they can't afford their home anymore on their retirement salary or on OAS/CPP.
Right.
Like, we have a housing crisis and we have an affordability crisis right now. And the government thinks it's perfectly acceptable to spend $9 million for a good friend of Justin Trudeau.
And they keep saying, well, it's saving money. It's saving money. Ladies and gentlemen, they haven't sold the old property yet.
Right. Not that we've heard anyways.
So you can't make that equation without selling the old property.
Right now you're carrying 2 properties and all the expenses that come with it, including condo fees and taxes.
Now the original the new property, new one, was originally listed at $9 million US. Canada bought it for like $6 million.
Something, yeah.
Meaning you're not going to get the price that you listed at. So they keep saying, well, we're listing it, the old one, at $13.5.
They're not going to get that. They're acting like they've already got that 13.5 in pocket, and they don't. The only difference, if I'm recalling correctly, is that they don't have to pay taxes, or they don't have to pay as much in taxes on the new residence because of because it's a consul general residence.
Yeah, it's in the Vienna Convention.
Yeah.
So anyhow, it's just like Justin Trudeau's sales tax holiday thing that he's talking about. You see them like putting all this out in the media, press conference and everything like that. The bill hasn't even been drafted yet. Never mind approved, never mind rolled out.
And we've seen ads already for stores selling the items that were on the list, saying like, oh, buy it now and then you can return it and get the HST back.
Yeah, bring in your receipt later. It's like, how do you even know it's going to happen?
Right.
Anyway.
My last 30 seconds, sir. We know that you're not going to resign for having bought a $9 million condo on Billionaires Row and having personally initiated that process. Will you resign for lying to a parliamentary committee?
Oh.
Mr. Chair, what the evidence I have given to this committee consistently is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Too bad the facts don't back that up.
Mr. Brock, please, for 5 minutes.
Uh-oh.
Yes. Yes.
Mark, at your last appearance, you were emphatic when you stated you had nothing to do with the decision to sell the old official residence. You had nothing to do with the decision to buy the new official residence. You had nothing to do with deciding on its amenities or its location. So let's cut to the chase. Since 2014, plans to repair the old luxurious official residence on Park Ave were ongoing and repairs commenced. No other prior head of mission demanded an immediate replacement. On February 23, 2023, your buddy Justin Trudeau appoints you head of mission in New York City. On April the 27th, same year, just a few months later, you host a reception for your buddy. You post a video to social media of the two of you in a limousine. In and around the same time, you and your office inform GAC officials, pursuant to an ATIP, that the property is not suitable for representational activities, it's not suitable as a residence, and I'm going to highlight this, requires immediate replacement. I have it right here, ATIP, black and white, Tom Clark. No other head of mission to New York City had issued that directive before other than you, Tom Clark. We also have the infamous email dated June 17th, 2024 from Emily Nicholson. States both CNGNY and HOM, that's you, Tom Clark, and staff have been instrumental throughout the process, with the head of mission, you, Tom Clark, providing the green light for the selection of the new residence. After your lies were exposed, you wrote to this committee. You tried to explain that your comments to officials were made in passing. Well, Tom Clark, that's another lie. Comments made in passing might include, how's the weather? How was your weekend? I guess my appearance at committee is not going very well today, but those...
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh my. This is a Christian Firth moment right here. Oh my goodness.
Wow. No wonder they call him the prosecutor.
A passing comment is, I guess my appearance at committee isn't going well.
Wow.
Oh my goodness.
Clark's going down in flames.
Oh, I'm so glad we're watching this right now.
This is incredible.
Hold on, my dog opened the door.
Well, we decided that we would try leaving the doors like ajar for them, and that way the cats wouldn't scratch the door, and that hopefully Finnick wouldn't get lonely. He misses his soulmate, so he's in the room.
That was savage. Absolutely savage. Oh, okay.
Amazing.
Trying to know with a $2 super chat, why buy a 3,500 square foot condo when Park Avenue was bigger? Because it was a slum.
Yeah, total slum. Did you see those floors?
Yeah, didn't you see the crap all over the walls?
And the grand piano? Ugh.
Yeah.
You know how much effort it takes to move a grand piano?
Grand piano is so last century.
Right.
Kevin S. with a $2 super chat, more comfortable on camera now. Love you guys.
Just a little bit. I think we've kind of come into our own. It was very scary going from avatars to camera, but I think we've adjusted. I think I've adjusted. I'm still a little nervous sometimes. Like when we're doing interviews, I'm always nervous, but I'm okay right now.
I'm not, because I know I'm the ugly one, so it's fine. People don't come here to look at my looks, so
I do.
Yeah, no, you don't. Goko Donnie with a $10 super chat. Sick and Brockinator, spare nothing. Go for the jugular. All right. Okay, I'm sorry, I have to back that up.
Comments made in passing might include, how's the weather? How was your weekend? I guess my appearance at committee is not going very well today, but those are passing comments. You issued a mandated direction to your staff that was communicated to GAC officials that the official residence on Park Avenue needed an immediate replacement. Isn't that correct?
Mr. Chair, I feel I've got to correct the record here. Let me start by saying there was never a directive or a mandate from me to my staff whatsoever.
Let's talk about who in your office you spoke with, because I'm also looking at an article from the National Post. You indicated, and you're quoted, I also observed the issues between family and representational spaces. I shared these views with Consulate General Administration. So who in administration did you communicate with? Names, please, and positions.
When I first saw the residents...
Names, please. Names.
Yeah, Mr. Chair, when I first saw the residents, I was in the company
Clark, it's a direct question. Who are the officials in your office that you spoke with and raised these concerns? Give me names, please.
Mr. Chair, I'm trying to tell you that. I am trying to say that when I arrived in New York and I saw the residents for the first time, I was...
The history, Mr. Clark. Just give me the names of the officials in your office you spoke with. It is not a difficult question. For the third...
I know we say it every time, but could you imagine, like, you're in the courtroom and you're the defendant and Brock's coming at you like this? You're like, okay, I did it. I admit everything. Even the things I didn't do, I did it.
No, the funny thing is that would happen, and then the judge is like, bailiff, you're not on the stand. He's not talking to you, bailiff. You're fine.
Just anybody in the courtroom.
You're fine.
Or like the witnesses or whatever. Or like the defense attorney's like, I didn't. I wasn't talking to you.
Oh, good. Okay.
Yeah,
sorry.
no, he's so, I could watch Larry Brock all day. He's so good. So good at what he does.
Time, give me names.
Mr. Chair, for the third time, I will say that when I made those comments, I was in the residence. I was not in the office. The people in the residence were the ones greeting me at the time. One was our MCO, who was Mario Bott. And quite frankly, I can't remember who else were there. I think there were about 3 or 4 other people, mainly from the property section of New York.
Table all the names of the individuals you spoke with, where you highlighted deficiencies in the official residence, whether in the residence itself, the staff, and your staff at your office in Manhattan. Will you table those names and those positions, including their email addresses, to this committee? Yes or no?
Guess who's going to get called to committee, guys? Are you loyal to Tom, or are you loyal to the truth?
Well, Mr. Chair, I will do my very best to try and remember who
You
was
also
in that meeting.
indicate that the comment you made about immediate replacement was made in passing to a colleague and reported to Consulate General at Global Affairs. Who was that colleague?
Mr. Chair, I never made that comment.
You're quoted in the National Post, so you can take that up with the National Post. Now, it's very clear that GAC officials earlier this week confirmed how important your mission is. You, as head of mission, are the most important official in that residence, and what you say carries great weight. So, Tom, you influenced your staff because you indicated to your staff that your champagne tastes were not suitable anymore for Park Avenue, and you needed that wonderful Central Park view on Billionaires Row. Isn't that correct?
Mr. Chair, everything that is said is inaccurate.